Okay, hi, it's another week, another SV Tapatya video. What's this, episode 31, isn't it? Doesn't it fly by? Been a very good week, been very busy, hard work, which is good. Lots of things I want to tell you about. First thing is, I thought I'd say, the two things, sometimes these coincidences happen, and two places I was looking on the internet this week made me think of something. There's one was the Facebook group, All Things Sailing. There was somebody posted a question about building boats, and there were kind of, as you might expect, there were quite a lot of responses saying, don't do it, it's a lot of hard work, it'll cost you 3 times what you expect it to and take you 3 times as long, and all this, I'm paraphrasing, but that was sort of kind of the gist of it often. And then in the latest SV Seeker video, in the description for that, Doug's written something about how he wishes lots more people would build boats, and he's kind of encouraging people to get pretty creative with their boat building and come up with their own designs, and it just made me think what great fun this is. Building your own boat is brilliant fun. I recommend it thoroughly. It's satisfying, it's enjoyable. I'm loving every minute of it, so I recommend it thoroughly. That's where I wanted to start. Then, quite a bit's gone on. We're up the aft end of the boat this time, and we haven't been up here since we've got the chine log, or the shear clamp and the chine log with the double laminate in place. So I thought we'd start off here. And what I rather like about this is that it now shows us the shape of the boat. We can see the shape of it, and the aft end here, if you can see this, Hazel, it's a lovely full curve to that aft end there, that you can imagine gives us quite a bit of buoyancy at the aft end here for following seas coming in that she should lift up and pick over them. And if we look at the front, we'll look at the front later, but you'll see that it's much sharper at the front end for cutting through seas. So it's a really pleasing shape. I'm happy with the shape of the boat. It's looking good. What I should, so far, often I've sort of said that things have gone easily and smoothly, and then they have in the main, it's true. A couple of difficulties I was going to mention. I said this is a lovely full curve to this aft end, but the curves, getting these curves, that wasn't easy, let's be honest. I've done them with 3 laminates in the end, so I did, can you see that? Is that too close? Can you actually see that close? Amazing. I did the 19mm laminates all the way around, 2 of, except for at the back where I did 1 19mm laminate and then 2 9.5mm laminates on the shear clamp. The chine log, one side I got round with 2 19mm laminates, and the other side just wouldn't go. So I guess the wood I was using was stiffer or whatever. So I ended up the other side. I did a double 9.5mm laminate again, even on the chine log where the curve is less pronounced. As you see, this big curve here. So that's not easy getting that curve around there. And the other thing that was difficult was, remember last week I showed you those 100mm bronze screws, basically 4-inch roughly, bronze screws. Yeah, so they were fairly difficult to get in, let's be honest. I put 3 in the stem, I put 3 in the stern post. I pre-drilled. I drilled a small hole for the depth of the threaded part. I drilled a bigger hole, the right diameter for the shank. But still, they were quite tricky to get in. and because they had a slotty head, they're not very forgiving, them slotty heads. I got 5 in, okay, you know, it wasn't easy, but I got them in. And the 6th one is this one here, if you want to have a look at that, Hazel. This one here. And you'll see that, well, you can't see, but I got it in nearly all the way. Just the head was protruding, and then the slot gave out. I couldn't get it in nor out. In the end, I sawed the head off, and I used a centre punch to spread the end of the shank there, and then I ball peen hammer and I riveted it over. And yeah, it's come out okay, but it's a rivet, not a screw now. Good. So yeah, what's happened this week is it's been busy, as I said, and what we've done is what I've done is I've planed off. I faired this entire side. This is the starboard side, so I faired this up. Been around it with a plane, actually with 3 different planes, and a straight edge, and I've made sure that it runs. So the chine log, shear clamp are all in line, that those frames are right, that it all runs nice and true all the way around there. Did them frame at a time and section at a time. As I got them fair, I put this, what you can see, this scribbly wibbly line around there, just to mark the fact that I got that section fair. Then I went on to the next section. And if you wander around, Hazel, you'll see that the scribbly line is all everywhere now. So I've done this entire side with the exception of one piece of wood. I'm going to nip by you, good. One piece of wood that's still gluing up on this aft frame. But other than that, the starboard side is completely faired up. That's quite good. I have actually faired this frame, but it was a little bit missing, so I've glued a bit in and I'll just plane that bit off at the end. So that's good. I also redid the way I'd attached that aft frame there. It's the number 12 frame, because I had attached it differently and it looked terrible. So I redid it. But it's better now. So that's done. I've made a little start on the port side as well, but not much. Anyway, all faired up. Very good. Went better than I expected, and I'm pleased with the way it's come out. I've got to go around and just put a bit of filler around here and there now, but that's where we are on that side. Obviously the bottom's still to fair. And the other thing I've done is I've been around the bottom of the chine log. I went around it first with the angle grinder. And after that, I went around it with the orbital sander. So that's all smoothed up now and ready. I did that now because it's going to be difficult to get to when the planks are on there. It'll be hard to smooth that up well. So it's all cleaned up now. Looking quite good. It's time for Tony's tooltip. As I said, been in there on the whole starboard side there, fairing it up, planing it. Used 3 planes on that job. 2 of them you've seen already. Started off with the Skill electric plane. You've seen that one. Used the Stanley block plane. You've seen that one. And the other plane that you haven't seen is this one here. And I like this plane. It's a traditional wooden plane. Wacky, aren't they? When I was in England, I would never have considered using such a tool, but these are still quite popular in Germany. This is an Ulmia wooden plane. It's really nice. They're lovely in the hand. That's cutaway there. Can you hold that out to the camera? Look, it's cutaway there. Fits beautifully in the hand. You've got that handle on the top there. The blade is really good quality steel. It cuts beautifully. The only thing that I would say about these is that it's quite difficult to set them up. Once you've got it set up, perhaps if you're an expert, they're not even difficult to set up. But for someone, an amateur like me, they're difficult to set up. But once I've got it set up, I leave it alone. If you remember on the Stanley, to adjust your blade depth, you've got this screw. So it's really a piece of cake to adjust the blade depth. On these block planes, you've got no screw. You've got to slide the blade in and out, which you do with a hammer, basically speaking. Right. Yeah, in is easy enough. You just take a hammer and hit the blade. So, you know, that works fine. You need to cast your eye over the foot of the plane, check that the blade's in line, and you can line it up by hitting either side to line your blade up. But out, you've got this metal thing, you see that on the end there, and you're supposed to hit that, and that is supposed to take the blade out. And in fact it does. But it's not the same. If you remember with the Stanley, you've got the screw where you can really finely adjust the blade. With this one, it's not quite as easy as all of that. It's not quite as easy, but it certainly does do it. The blade is can you see along the foot of that blade? It's fairly well set up there. I say, once I've got it set up once, I leave it set up. But it cuts beautifully. For boat building, because the boats are mainly curved, you don't need very long feet on your plane. You know, the longer the foot of the plane, the better it is for planing flat things. So if you're making a tabletop or something, you want a good long plane. But for boats, because they're curved in most directions, some boats more curvy than others, of course, you don't need a long-footed plane. So this is plenty long enough, and it cuts beautifully. And I said, once again, compare back to the Stanley. Great plane, as I've told you already. Actually, my favourite. But it's cast iron. It's cold in the hand. You know, the wood block planes. It's beech wood. They're lovely. It feels lovely and warm to work with. They're quite enjoyable. And I got this one about 10 years ago here in Germany, and as an experiment. I really like it. So if you ever see any of these old wooden planes, as long as the blade's still good, or you see them on sale somewhere, I'd recommend them. They will cut.
Riches in the sunset, standing at the sea. Tell me where you're going so decisively. What's your destination? Tell me where you're bound. We can move together where adventures abound. Running free before the breeze. Are there many days such as these?